Hello and welcome to another Skullgirls video. As you probably clicked on this video because of the title, I'm just gonna tell you right off the bat that I think the biggest loser in this balance patch is Annie, and the biggest winner is Eliza. And I honestly don't think Annie's a bad character, I think she's still really good. And I'll go into the patch notes and so on in just a sec. But as always, before I get started, if you like the content, the most I can ask of you is please consider hitting the red button below and checking the links below. Well, let's get started. So Annie got a lot of changes. I wouldn't call her a loser by any means. Honestly, the biggest loser might even be Peacock. But the one that got hit the most was Annie. So her install super now requires 2 bars to actually work. If you have 1 bar, it won't work. Let's see, meter level at 1. Doesn't work. You need 2 to actually activate it. And it actually consumes 1 bar once you activate it. See, it goes to 4 immediately and then it starts going down and it changes to 3. Before it didn't consume any bar, so it would just start going down and change to 4. But now it consumes 1 bar. And it always costs, you always need 2 bars. Even as a DHC, you need to have 2 bars. I'm pretty sure it will only cost 1 bar, let's try it right now. Yeah, it only costs 1 bar. Again, just to DHC, but it won't happen if you don't have that second bar in there. That's how the super works now. Although this was never really used that much as a DHC, if I remember correctly. But what else changed? Is aside from that, stars from jumping HP only happen once per jump, as you can see. Which, you know, it's a nerf. But it was kind of very dumb how she was able to just do this and win neutral. So again, she's still good. She still has the first one that basically wins you neutral, but it's not as dumb anymore. Crouching heavy kick during star power, the install is just a little easier. Like, it just changed quality of life, so it's more consistent. Forward medium punch doesn't produce stars anymore, so you can actually stagger during a combo in star power. That's an actual buff, quality of life. Now all the stars cause chip damage. That's pretty good. And like, you can kind of see it. It's a little hard to see because of the settings on the life bar, and this also causes chip damage. There you go. It's just quality of life. Those are buffs. Pretty good. But then they nerfed North Knuckle. North Knuckle basically has worse frames overall, like on block stun and the hit stop. Just a little worse frames overall. And if you use it as an assist, it's even worse. Let me see if I have... Yeah, okay. And I'm gonna put the recording to come out as reversal. There it is. So Annie's gonna jump right after blocking this. As you can see, she pretty much could do it instantly after blocking that. So it's still a good assist, but it's not as dumb as it was before. It was basically one of the best assists in the entire game, but not anymore. In the beta, before Umbrella came out, they actually hit it so hard that if this was blocked as an assist, the follow-up would never come out, and basically just killed the assist. But they just changed it, so it basically has no block stun anymore. It's still a good assist, it still keeps you in place for a little while. It's not just dumb. It's not dumb anymore. It was a dumb assist. It was too good. And now it also damage scales a little more as an assist. You know, again, hitting it a little bit, but that's fine. Then Pillar of Creation. Pillar of Creation was also hit really bad, if you remember my guide, if you saw that. That basically doesn't apply anymore. This is not a free super DHC anymore. The startup increased. The advantage on hit, on the first hit on block were hit, like, so this is way more minus. Actually, I should have kept you doing this. And let's jump at the same time. Oh my god, you're so minus now. It's pretty crazy. It recovers more on whiff again, so it's very punishable when used as a DHC. The super freeze ends faster, meaning you probably could actually do something in between that. Like, if you try exactly what I just did there, like a neutral, you're not gonna do well. Like if you do this into this, they probably will be able to do their own super, and you will get hit and it won't be pretty. It also, they adjusted the damage, so the brunt of the damage actually comes from the second hit when it hits. Where is blocking? There it is. So that second hit is the one that does the most damage, meaning it basically just was changed to scale, so it does less damage when it's already scaled, so the brunt of the damage doesn't come from the first hit, meaning it's less scaled. Also, as a DHC, it forces 40% scaling, damage scaling. The first hit active frames were reduced. The hit stop and launch height on second hit were reduced, so it's harder to confirm from all the way over here, as you can see, full screen. Harder. You can still do it, but it's gonna be a little more difficult. And they're gonna bounce all the time now, so if you already bounced them in the combo or somewhere like that, you won't get a free extension from anywhere on the screen anymore. So again, it got hit. It's still a really good super, very good. They just changed it so it actually is on par with other supers in the game. And then she just got some other like small changes, like Destruction Pillar. The DP has less block stun because as an assist it had so much block stun for a DP assist. It was crazy. So they changed it as an assist specifically. They changed the block stop and block stun, so it's not as dumb as an assist anymore. They also changed this. Like, I'm gonna teach you something real quick if you don't know. I'm green and I turn purple. The hitboxes, hurt boxes turn purple when you're blocking in the air. I can block, can block. And block on the way down, as you can see. Now, let's have you jumping, which I wish this wasn't a list like this, and always block. Couldn't block. Now you can't block on the way down if the air beam gets blocked in the air. You're punishable all the way down, just like Valentine's specials. You know, once again, just making it on par with other things in the game, making her not be as dumb as she was before. Meteor Strike just released the hit boss, which doesn't really change much but feel, I'm pretty sure. Meteor Strike got a little less damage and a little more damage scaling, again making it a little on par with more supers in the game. She probably was one of the characters that did the most damage with the right hit, and it was kind of crazy. Jumping heavy punches, hitbox got hit too. I honestly didn't think this was that necessary, but the move still works as intended, so it doesn't really change that much. It's kind of just a quality of life for other characters, so they can, you know, actually try to contest you while they're on the ground. So, you know, it's a fine change. It doesn't really change that much of her gameplay. Again, just makes it less dumb. Crouching heavy punch also got reduced damage because again she did a lot of damage. And jumping, I mean standing medium punch also got hit. The hitbox also got hit. I think it actually used to hit there before. So you know it's less dumb now. Still a pretty good bonus. And the recovery on jumping medium punch, as I told you before in the guide, this was kind of like a good preemptive air-to-air and will convert into pretty much anything. But now if you whiff it, there's more recovery, like just 2 frames. It's not that much, so it really won't change that much. It just makes it a little, just a tiny little bit easier for the cast to actually catch you if you're just trying to do that. So that one's fine. And another quality of life change basically was this is made it just feels a little better. They just made it so it feels a little better. But they did reduce the damage once again, so she doesn't do too dumb damage anymore. Which is fine. She also got just a couple of bug fixes that really didn't change much. And then double. I don't have double right now, but double basically cat heads last like a half second longer when you DHC into it, which I don't like, but I guess you needed it. I guess. Whatever. Now the biggest winner, Eliza. So why do I call Eliza the biggest winner? Is just she got just this little quality of life changes that it seems that just might help her out in a lot of situations. So standing heavy punch and standing heavy kick startup got reduced both by 3 frames. This is faster by 3 frames. It used to be 21 frames, now it's 18. And it's at disjointed hitbox too. And it being a little faster is pretty good. It's a really good button. In my guide, which I will update one day, I said you could catch people like this, but you have to be careful. Now it's a little easier to just throw out. This one too. This one could actually also be kind of like a preemptive anti-air, because look at that. Might be a preemptive anti-air. It's a pretty good bonus now again, now with the step forward. And how it's faster and how fast it hits. You know, just little changes. And crouching heavy kick, the armor starts a little 4 frames faster. Let's actually put the attack data on advanced to actually see. The black boxes you can see below the green boxes up top, that's the armored frames in the move. Meaning, it starts the 9th frame, so it has an 8 frame startup. The 9th frame of this move is now has projectile armor. Before, it actually took 12 frames instead of 8. So a lot of people usually told me, oh, Eliza has a fine matchup against Peacock because of crouching heavy kick. 12 frames was too slow to actually use it once Peacock started with her rhythm. And since Eliza is kinda tall and her air dash moves you up, it's not a very good matchup, honestly. And that segment also takes a while to come out, like you can see. It takes 17 frames to come out. It's not as an easy thing to do. But now that they made it 8 frames, it might be easier to actually slip into one of the gaps and do this against Peacock. Or as you can see, I call the assist there to actually, you know, cover myself maybe a little more or try to catch her with it. It might actually be good against Peacock now. So that's why I think she might be the biggest winner. Basically because of these changes. She also got a little change to her projectile. This projectile, basically nobody used it. It was pretty bad. Startup wasn't that great. But now they reduced the extended hurt box on it because it was so easy for this move to get, like, it has a hurt box and you can hit it. But now it's a little harder to hit it because the extended hurt box was changed. And also the knockback from this was changed by like 20%, which is very nice because Eliza doesn't want to lame you out. So being able to hit you a little bit from afar and actually not lose that much distance, as you can see, is pretty good. That's pretty good. They did nerf Sekhmet. There's people that might think this is a very big nerf. I do not think it's a big nerf. Basically, let's put her to block again. So you know, light, oh, out of there. Medium, out of there. Heavy, no longer out of there. So the heavy buttons are no longer backdashable. You cannot backdash this with Segment anymore, the heavy one. You might say, oh, but that's a big hit on her game plan. What are we gonna do now for mix-ups with Segment? This is awful. Honestly, I think this is a really good change. Because what that meant was that it would just slow the match to a crawl. Like, you would just see Segment come out, and then I would just stop and see, like, be blocking low. And if I see this, push, like, I will always be blocking low. Block this, push block. I see this that has a 20 frame startup, so it wasn't that hard to react to it. I just changed my block and push block. It basically was, if I catch you sleeping, I'll hit you. But it just meant to slow down the match to a crawl. Because it was just, okay, I'm just gonna be push blocking you for a while now until you decide to go back. Because Jesus Christ. So now she can't do that. She can still backdash from this overhead, which is 21 frames. Which honestly, it probably is like 27 frames or something because of the jump startup. But that's fine. Because she can still do things like this. 2 overheads, right? 2 overheads, 3 overheads. Or just a slowdown into the 3 overheads. This was 4 overheads actually. And she can still react to that, and if it hits, you can actually go into the other one for more damage. So I think it's a fine change. It just makes it so it's not that boring to fight against her, which is really nice. And a pretty good change they did with her is that this super, you can preemptively do the quarter circle, and Segment will immediately go back, like before she hits the ground. And it won't actually consume life as you do that, making it just, you know, more consistent and easier to do. Very good quality of life change. But they also hit it with damage scaling a little more, just 10% more damage scaling, which is fine. She was able to do dumb amounts of damage with that, you know, that's fine. You know, that's her changes. I think she's even better a character now. I don't think she's bad anymore. Like, I was on the fence in the previous balance bench. I think she's at the very least on the Dynamite Girl tier list. And I will actually do a tier list when Combo Breaker, after Combo Breaker happens, so I can have more information. Miss Fortune got hit with her jumping light kick. Her jumping light kick was very dumb. Now it has an increased vulnerable hurt box, making it less dumb. In the beta, she got actually hit real bad. Like, a bunch of her tools were hit extremely bad, and they rolled that back. I think they have realized one. I believe Miss Fortune is the best character, would be the best character in the game if she had good assists. She's like the perfect solo character, but she's not good playing with others. That's her issue. So it's kind of hard to putting her on a team sometimes. And now Peacock, oh my god, Peacock. She got the greatest change of all time. So remember when she used to teleport behind you? and you had to wait for her to hit the ground to have a relatively small window to actually punish her. You remember that? Well, she is vulnerable all the way now. You don't need to think about it anymore. Just hit her. Hit her out of it. It's so good that she got a hit. This is so good. She might actually be the biggest loser in this match just because of that. There's nothing better about her. She just became a little worse, and I'm so happy about that. Also, her level 2 Shadow of Impending Doom has an increased cooldown of 20 frames. That's basically 1/3 of a second. Which, you know, it's again a little worse for her. I don't think it's going to change her game plan that much, but that teleport thing makes me so happy. She can no longer teleport that freely anymore. She's so punishable now. So what I would recommend is if she is throwing stuff and then teleporting without any regards of the timing or anything, just grab her. Because you're invincible during your grab and her projectiles won't hit you and you'll have a full punish on her. So that's my recommendation. They changed a little bit of roll fortune, nothing that much. They just made it so the air dash isn't that dumb anymore when she does her level 3, and her knockback on medium Theonite beam is reduced, and her recovery on air Theonite beam is reduced. You know, like I said in my video where they finally fixed Robo, is that yeah, when she is in that state, she doesn't really want to limb you out anymore. She wants to be on top of you, so those beams having reduced recovery and knockback is just good for her. That's pretty good, and that's it. That's all the balance changes. Let me know what you think. Do you like the state of the game right now? I really like it. Well, I will see you next time.